never managed to find Horace, but my duty must be done, even alone. As an unkindled Lord seeks to the children, bless their souls. We all have our reasons.
Got right back up to his feet.
Please, take this,
And he ended up dropping
and also a token of protection.
Solo would drop and then running Senton. So the bloodline worked over Solo in
You
the
are, I
corner.
would do well to learn from you. May the flames guide.
Hear that?
I would do, may the...
I heard that on Monday night. He was in the crowd. They started chanting, "Let's go Solo." So they were chanting for me. It's very possible. I'm sure you're all at home right now when you tune into the stream and you're chanting that same thing. In fact, I want you to type that out in the chat. We gotta get some "Let's go Solo" chants. Go. So Fatu hit Solo with a running hip attack in the corner. But then the two of them ended up colliding. They clotheslined each other. We got a double down. So anyway, Royce Keys tagged in, and Jimmy Uso tagged in. And Keys planted him with World's Strongest Slam. I guess that was maybe a little tribute to Mark Henry, who was in the crowd. They showed him in the crowd. In fact, the entire Busted Open group was in the crowd. They had a shot of them later on. Right there was Dave LaGreca, Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray. Big smile, big cheesy smile on his face. Yeah. So there was a spot where Keys was on the ropes with Jimmy, and he was trying to pick him up. Again, like almost in a World's Strongest Slam position, but from the middle rope. But he was trying. I mean, it was tough. I don't know what. It was just like his positioning on the ropes, or he just couldn't get a good grip, or whatever it was. This was taking forever. And then finally he was able to power slam him off the ropes. Jimmy does look bigger. I don't know if that had something to do with it, but LA Knight and Jay, they got tagged in. And Jacob tried to jump into things. Knight knocked him off the apron. Hit a big elbow for a near fall. And Jay came back with a spear for a near fall of his own. So Jay went up top. Knight, though, he popped up. Did the leap up to the top that he does. And brought him down with a superplex. But Jimmy was on the top rope in the opposite corner. And he came diving off with an Uso splash. So then Solo took Bruce Keys, he drove Fatu into the mat with a spine buster. And then they ended up outside. And this was a big spot of the match right here. Because Jacob charged in towards Royce, who was over by the timekeeper's barricade. But here comes Jacob Fatu. Keys catches him as he power slams him over the timekeeper's barricade to the floor on the other side, which is exposed. It's the concrete on the other side of the barricade. Keys goes over the barricade with him and nearly spikes himself face first down into the ground. I mean, this was a crazy spot, and that could have ended very badly. So that was like the one big holy shit spot of the match. Back inside, Jay hit Knight with a spear. Jimmy came off the top of an Uso splash and covered. Knight, though, kicked out in two. And so the Usos set up for the 1D. Solo was on the apron, and he reaches over, and he delivers a Samoan spike to Jimmy. LA Knight then catches Jay with a BFT, and man, I'm kind of underselling it. He got all of that BFT. He fucking planted him, and I will say Jay sold this great. And LA Knight hits Jay Uso to win the 6-man tag team match. See, that I wasn't expecting. And I have to say this, I feel vindicated. Okay, for all the times, and you guys know, for all the times over the last several months that I have said, they have been living on TV. Why is this MFT stuff still going on? Why are the MFTs for the community? Why is it still talking about this over and over and over again? Now we're starting to bear fruit. You are seeing this. Why I'm seeing it the entire time. It's amazing sometimes how you just let somebody be more like themselves. How they can get over. The guy is a natural babyface. He's naturally charismatic and naturally funny. If you just let some of that shine through on TV, he will get over. he will get over. The only regret I have is that I had this whole idea in my entire NFTs, not just Solo. Yeah, they could have gotten the whole group over. Instead, you fired half of them. And now Tala Tonga and Tama Tonga are going to be doing something with Haku. We'll see where that goes. This is how it is. Any consideration of turning him back, or there being a swerve, or, you know, for the long run, like, that's bullshit. You got to put that idea out of your mind. If you're thinking about that, they need to not think about that. And just keep riding this wave. Let him go out there, let him be himself, and he will continue to get over. And the crowd will continue to chant his name. And you see how great. So that is great to see. Pleasantly surprised, even more so, that LA Knight got to take something. Again, I was not expecting that to take place. I don't know that it leads anywhere worthwhile. Assuming that there's really anything of substance in this guy. They have some insane plan for it. But you never know, right? You're always maybe a slot opens up and all of between whatsoever I have thanks for being on. I'm doing it right now. Wasn't looking up at the lights. And so I kept up a good pace. I thought everybody had a chance to shine at different points. This was an easy thumbs up. And Gunther, Ring General taking on the National Treasure in Opus. This was all the statistics WWE debuted. This was the first match in 3 years. They actually paid for not to forward. They paid. It was difficult to hear when he was down. But then it became very clear listening to it what it was. And I'm sure that didn't come cheap. I'm sure this is going to be edited off ESPN and or Netflix. I would be shocked if they keep that song in there. I'm sure it wasn't cheap. I don't know. Cutbacks to pay for the song. The special nature of the occasion. And I'm sure for him, I don't know if he had a say in the song. I mean, he must have, but that was very unexpected. Because I was worried they were going to Def Rebel him. I started thinking about, like, oh man, when he comes out, like, what is he going to come out to? You know? God only knows what god-awful song they're going to have him come out to. So him coming out to that was a relief. And they introduced him as the National Treasure, which is the nickname he used to go by when he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He looked incredible. I mean, he really did. Like, he got himself... he was already in shape, but, like, whatever work he's put into things over the last several weeks paid off. Just cosmetically, he looked like he could just... You know, he could be on the active roster right now. It wouldn't look out of place at all. So he was in great shape. They also acknowledged him on the screen. They put a graphic up showing some of his past accomplishments. And they acknowledged him as I think a two-time TNA and said nothing about him being an NWA champion, which I just found that funny. His wife, Mickie James, and their son Donovan were in the front row for this match. I popped at Michael Cole talking about Aldis's appearance last week on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, which is a great interview, by the way, if you didn't see it. But, according to Cole, it was the NWE. Is that what he said? Yeah, Cole is just an awful label. The NWE got better out there. Called NWE. I don't think they've all this ever wrestled for them, but I'm sure they exist somewhere. What I was going to say is I popped at Michael during Chris's podcast, and never acknowledged the fact that in the front row on the hard cap right there, I think as he was saying it, let alone all night, he was right there in the front row. It was Chris Van Vliet. He was sitting right there. Never even acknowledged it. But he did mention that he was on his podcast. I should have texted Chris during the show. Just to fuck with him, and then while I'm watching, I'll see him look down at his phone. See, but I didn't do it though. I didn't want to bother him. There was a very impressive spot early on here in this match where Aldis, he caught Gunther out of midair and then muscled him up into a vertical suplex. Aldis took a hard bump down to the floor. So Gunther, he went over and got in Mickey. He thought he was setting up on the spot for the match. You know, where like he would saunter on over to Mickey and then Mickey would like slap him in the face or something. They didn't do anything like that. You know, but you know, going to put the kid in the sleeper hold because he smacks him or something. I don't know. But they show the family on screen. Immediately you think angle alerts, right? It's kind of ingrained in me. Think, okay. And Mickey, obviously herself being a wrestler, but they never did factor into the match. So a little bit later on, Gunther, he escaped forward, he's blocked his all the sent Gunther into the turnbuckles to break the sleeper hold. Gunther then lowered down this Shetty, you still got it. Or as Michael Cole said, you still have it. Take shit up, and then things go. I don't know what it is with him, man. How long has he been doing this for now? 30 years. So all this stuff, Gunther with a flying clothesline, and he had a British Bulldog-style power slam for an earful. This slam for hitting a top rope diving choke. And the last, that's it. That's sufficient. And it's not like he's ever wrestled for them before. It's been established that this is his move set, that this is his finishing move. And people were popping for him, man. I mean, they were fully into it. Gunther eventually grabbed the bottom rope for the break. Gunther got another sleeper applied. Aldis, though, quickly reversed it to a big pop. And Gunther broke the hold with a Saito suplex and then locked in yet another sleeper. This time he has him down on the mat, and that's not the place to be. Aldis is able to fight up to his feet. Gunther takes him back down again, and then eventually Aldis is forced to tap out. After Gunther left, they stopped the music, and Aldis got to his feet. Nice, respectful ovation, standing ovation, and applause from the crowd. Mickey comes into the ring along with young Donovan, and we have a nice little family celebration in the middle of the ring. And again, you know, for the fans who chant, you still got it, you still got it. One thing that Aldis proved in the ring tonight in this match, he never lost it. It's always been there. He was just waiting for the opportunity. If you watch the interview with Chris Van Vliet, he got very emotional. And he starts crying, he barely speak, and he just says, after like a minute of not being able to speak, he just goes, this is, in so many words, it's like, this is special. Like, this match, this means a lot. He basically said, like, this is my shot. This is the shot he's been waiting for. He's getting it now. I don't know how old is he? 39, 40? He's in that range. It took this long, but this was his shot. So again, going out there, the presentation with the music and everything, and coming out being in shape like that, and towel around the neck, you know, the national treasure, everything just had to be pitch perfect because he doesn't know when or if he's going to have another chance to go out there in WWE and sustain. You know, we don't know. It took him 3 years to get this guy in the ring. This is going to be the only shot he had. He wants to make the most of it. Well, be very proud of what he gets done. There's nothing in this match that would lead you to believe this man should be in the ring. He didn't embarrass himself. He didn't gas himself out. He didn't, you know, slip on the ropes or anything. There was nothing. Everything was pitch perfect. the match played out exactly the way I figured it would. You got some spots in there, you got the crowd behind it, but you can't jump in back for that. Like, great to give him a happy home to his family. Time with the GM again. And now you got Gunther on SmackDown, and it's like, okay, you've been beaten by the general manager of the show. Oh boy, that really helps Gunther. Played out exactly the way that I expected it to, and the way that it should have. Now, I said earlier when the show went off the air, those of you who are joining late, Aldis confronted Triple H and tried to hand him a letter of resignation as the GM of SmackDown. So I accept my fate. I may not be able to be the GM anymore because I wanted this match. An honor and privilege to serve. And Triple H said, not so fast. I'm reinstating. So he is going to stay on as the GM of SmackDown. And we'll see if he wrestles again at some point. Maybe a cameo in a Rumble or something. I can see that. But it would be very awkward. They have to shoot an angle every single time he's going to feud with this person or that person to, kind of pull him from the GM position. So you got to make a decision. I think the right decision is to keep him in the GM spot. Now, as far as Gunther, picked up the win here. Where does he go coming out of this, right? Probably not the WWE title picture. Frankly, I don't really want him in the title picture. Been there, done that. We already did that a few months ago. There is a number one contender tomorrow at 19. Sami Zayn and Finn Balor that I can Finn Balor. I mentioned that last week. And so Gunther, Friday, yes, that he wants to be the number one contender. That could be setting up something between Gunther and Finn Balor. They get this relevant They kind of did one match before on TV on Raw many years ago, but they've never had a proper review. So that could be, to me, it's actually the likely direction, if I had to guess, for Gunther as we go forward. After this, we had more six-person tag team action. This was quite the departure from the one that we had, or this was the opposite of the six-person tag we had. This was Fatal Influence, Casey Jane, the women's tag team champions, Fallon Henley and Lacey taking on Paige and the now reunited Bella twins, now that Nikki Bella is back. This was a mess. That's what this was. This was a mess, and the crowd was quiet for most of it. But there was an early cannonball outside the ring by Casey Jane to Brie Bella up against the ring steps. And I'm pretty sure this is where she got hurt, because Brie immediately clutched her right shoulder. I don't know, the shoulder, the collarbone, but there was some injury that was in place. And how about it? Incredibly, yes, $14 super check. This is becoming a very popular one. Psy Guy is here. Thanks for the content, Psy. Well, thank you. Glad you joined. From that cannonball spot, from that point forward, she kept clutching that shoulder. She would not let go of it. It was clearly bothering her for the rest of the match. So whenever she tagged back in, she was basically useless in the ring. She was like a one-on woman. Couldn't do anything. She could barely take any bumps. She was trying to protect her arm. It was very clear to me as a fan, like watching it home, on my fucking iPad, watching this show. I can't imagine that, there weren't people in the back who could tell that she was hurt. You have two other people that are on her team. And it's not like they were doing any sort of, convoluted spots that won't be Brie. Let her just hang out. Why was she still in there doing stuff that she clearly was in no condition to do? I don't know why she was able to stay in the match. And the referee didn't communicate to her, get out of the ring. Let the doctor go check on you. But there was an embarrassing spot late there. Out of the ring. But she couldn't do anything except move out of the way. And JC basically had to throw herself out of the ring to the floor. Paige got a blind tag, caught JC with a sunset flip for a near fall. But then after a distraction, JC caught her with a rolling on pull and she pinned the pin. So even though she lost the match for her team, the Bellas, they embraced Paige, they said it's okay, they gave her a hug. It's over. The Bellas win and attacked Paige and turned heel in the process. Brie threw a few very weak kicks because that's really all she could do. It was mostly just Nikki beating the crap out of Paige. She dropped her with a back attack. Blake announced that Brie is now injured. Well, yeah, I didn't need Triple H to tell me that. I could tell she was injured. Hopefully it's not too serious. I don't like to see anybody get hurt. Here, 90 seconds or whatever it was into the match, it was pretty clear he did. The shoulder demon. I said collarbone potentially. Probably a little bit more of a shoulder injury. The shoulder demon, it looks like they have taken it out. Not on a vacation. We haven't heard from the shoulder demon. But then after Nikki lays out Paige, and the Bellas are leaving together, and Brie looks very upset. That was the other giveaway. Even some crazy about that, but she is just kind of like muttering to herself and just talking out loud. And she says, "You'll never take my spot." And like, it doesn't make any sense. You're the one chose Paige to be in the spot that was supposed to belong to you, but you got hurt. You chose Paige. You made the phone call to bring her in. And that's why she won the tag team championships with your sister. How did she take your spot? I mean, that's on you. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I don't know, man. I mean, maybe it's a sign. You know, one Bella gets hurt. She's gone for months. Literally, her first match back and her sister gets hurt. And she's probably going to be gone for weeks at a minimum. Because it didn't look good. So I don't know what that means now for whatever their plans are. You know, there was somebody in chat yesterday, I think on the stream, who suggested that maybe the direction is the Bellas turn on Paige. Paige then brings in AJ Lee. You know, her old friend, AJ Lee. WrestleMania 31, I believe. And then we end up with Paige and AJ Bellas. I'm not sure who was asking for that. I said, no. Well, now what? I'm not saying that was the plan. I'm just saying I can see that being the plan. That's the plan with the Bellas. If you're one Bella here, Nikki on ice? I don't know. It seems to me like we may get Paige and Nikki in a one-on-one feud.
Welcome, speak. Very well, then touch taken. Ashen One.
Ah, Ashen.
That is good, wasn't he? Be careful.
Do not be gone.
Till we meet again.
Welcome, speak. Very well, then take note. Farewell, Ashen One. Welcome, speak. Very well, then take note. Farewell, Ashen One.
Ashen One.
Thank you.